Now, she didn't know enough about clocks, but she did know a lot about picking a neighborhood to live in. My mom was born in Scotland and moved to this country. And when her and my dad were looking for a place to live, they took a train out to Queens, and they got off at 102nd Street, and they just walked right down Jamaica Avenue. And my mom fell in love with Jamaica Avenue at that point. And we've been here ever since. In some ways, Project Woodhaven has been walking down that avenue over the last year. And we've been covering the avenue, we've been covering the neighborhood. One of the things I love about Woodhaven is recently, is that the little kids talking? They can talk. We were all little kids once. Recently we did a story on Project Woodhaven where we went up to Forest Park. There's a spot in Forest Park that I absolutely love, where you can sit and you're like in the middle, it's like you're in the middle of the country. And you can sit up there and you can feel like you're in the middle of no place, and yet you can get an egg sandwich at 2 in the morning on Jamaica Avenue. So I mean, it's a great place to live, and we really love here. Now, here's the thing, about a year and a half ago, we were looking to move, my wife and I. We were Googling and looking for a place to move to because we had felt we had had enough and we weren't happy here anymore. And one of the complaints we hear from people who live in Woodhaven is something I heard coming out of my mouth, and that is that you walk down the street and you don't know anybody. You don't know anyone. And that was the way I felt whenever we would walk down the street. And then what happened was, along the way, when we started Project Woodhaven, and we started it with an intent to get some old photos of Woodhaven and kind of build a history of it. And along the way, once we started covering the news, and once we started meeting people and meeting organizations, all of a sudden, as we were walking down Jamaica Avenue, we started to see people that we knew. Suddenly, there weren't strangers on the avenue. There were people that we knew, that were friends. And in that way, the neighborhood started to seem smaller to us. And at that point, we stopped Googling, and we put away the real estate brochures, and we decided to stay. We've met a lot of really good people over the last year. And I couldn't even begin to name them all. We've met a lot of good organizations. Recently this week, I went and gave a nice presentation and met with the ladies of the Woodhaven Historical Society. A great group of folks, and they're responsible for those historical markers that are around, the landmarks. Joe Verdona, where's Joe? There. Joe, with his, we have a great story on Joe and Project Woodhaven this week with this. It's a terrific story about the plaque at St. Thomas that was there to honor the World War II, the young men that gave their lives in World War II. And the plaque was stolen. What kind of an animal steals a plaque, right? And Joe stepped in and decided to try and replace that plaque that was honoring them. And if you don't mind, John, I'm going to tell a story. He goes and he Googles, because every year, first of all, he's been taking pictures. Joe's every place with his camera. And he's taking pictures, and he's got pictures from year to year of his plaque. But every year, there's flowers in front of it, and it's hard to get all the names. So he has to go and he gets all the different names. Finally, he gets it all together, puts together like a replica on Photoshop. He goes on Google, he Googles bronze, what was it, bronze memorial plaques? Something like that. Right, and the first company that pops up, he sends it to them. And they write back to him or get in touch with him, and you want to know, it was the same company that did the original plaque. And they asked us to write. So this week we got installed at St. Thomas this past week, and Reverend Mino was there and he gave a blessing, and you know, it's just a great story. And there are stories like this that happen all the time. Earlier this year, Memorial Day, when we had the ceremonies at the Legion Hall, there was another one down in Forest Parkway. And when we posted pictures of it, one of the former residents of Woodhaven had written in a blog posting, I said, wow, you know, that kind of looks like Mayberry. If I had seen that stuff when I lived there, I'd have never left. You know, I don't know if we're exactly Mayberry, but there's all the churches and schools and different groups that we all don't know about each other. And again, the whole idea is to make the neighborhood smaller. And we're still not there, we're getting there. It's going to take us a while, but we've got to reach out and get everybody talking to one another. And it's a great opportunity to leverage synergy. So where we can have different groups feeding off one another. So once you start getting groups in, and they start becoming aware of other groups and learning how to help other groups, they can become more important to one another. And we've got a lot of hard work ahead of us. Mostly right now, what I'm concerned about this past couple of weeks has been the Woodhaven Ambulance Corps, volunteer ambulance corps. And Ms. Judy, your son's involved, and I've spoken to him about that. And they've hit some really hard financial times. And there's every chance that they may go under. Now, this is an organization that has been around for 45 years, providing medical care to people in Woodhaven. And they haven't charged anyone a dime in 45 years. And they could go under. Now, right now, we're in a situation, the Block Association, where we've been talking to people about bringing back the security patrols. We used to have security patrols in the neighborhood, but we don't anymore. So we're starting from scratch. It's very, very difficult when you lose something like that to start it from scratch. We have to make sure we don't lose the ambulance corps. We don't want to have to start from scratch with that. But things like that, we all got to work together on. And I'll do my part, and I know everyone at the Block Association and all the wonderful residents who we have will join us and help. Finally, I'd just like to thank everyone here tonight for coming out. I think it's wonderful that you chose to spend your evening with us, and I thank you very much. I'd like to thank members of the Woodhaven Residents Block Association. Mr. President, Vance, I'd like to thank you very much. You've done an outstanding job over the last 2 years. I'd like to thank Maria Thompson. And I'd like to thank Janet. Where are you, Janet? Thank you, Janet. I'd like to thank Arlene. Where are you, Arlene? I'd like to thank Jerry. I don't want to ask Jerry to stand up, because I know she just had surgery on the knees. Where is she? Jerry, there you go. Roger, thank you very much. You're Roger, thank you very much. Our newest board member, Alex. If anyone sees Alex trying to get a drink at the bar, just know, I'm not sure he's old enough to. And Linda, where are you? Linda. Thank you. I want to thank my friends that came tonight.